Thank You for Being a Friend is taped on Tuesdays and airs on Fridays. Yesterday on Thursday, we learned of the passing of legendary ring announcing icon Howard Finkel. Howard was a friend to many of us throughout the wrestling industry. He was a friend to many of the fans around the world, and he was an icon to all of us who grew up listening to his legendary ring announcements. Howard was a wonderful person. Howard was the greatest wrestling ring announcer of all time. Howard Finkel left an incredible legacy, and Howard Finkel will be greatly missed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Lanai here in Arizona. Thank you for joining once again, or thank you for being a friend. Thank you all for being a friend. Very excited for my guest this week. He's one of my favorite people in AEW that I look forward to seeing every single week and hanging out with him and just kind of like standing by him and listening to him talk. You'll understand once you meet him. He is a member of the Nightmare family. He is also one half of the Natural Nightmares with his tag team partner, Dustin Rhodes. Please welcome QT Marshall.
Oh, what an introduction, Justin. Thank you so much. You didn't call me a friend, though. I was waiting for that. And I was going to...
I think that's more towards like after we talk and then I go, thank you for being a friend, something like that.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Either way, I'm not going to lie to you. I was going to give you a hard time. So no matter what you said, I already in my head knew I was going to give you a hard time about it.
So if I told you a friend, you would have given me a hard time.
Yeah, I would have said we're not friends. But even though we are friends, but I would have said we're not just because it's just something I have to do.
Okay, understandable. Well, it's good to see you. I miss you. It's been about 5 years.
I know, yeah. We're here.
Like 5 years.
It feels like forever.
It does. It really does. And I hate it and look forward to seeing you in person soon. We met about a year ago. I was in Nashville, came out to Atlanta to shoot the announcement for my involvement with AEW, Double or Nothing. And there's just a handful of us at the studio. And I don't think we really knew each other. Maybe we saw each other in passing years before that. But it was our first time hanging out. And you just kept talking and talking and talking and telling these stories. And they were so endearing because you were just so genuine and real. And the stuff you were telling, it was you and I and Brandy just sitting in the room listening to your stories. And I immediately took a liking to you, and that's where I first met you. And then now we've been working together for many months here at AEW.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one of the things, I don't have a filter. So some of the stories I probably told you on the first day meeting somebody, it was probably a little awkward. But also, it probably just let you, like, it set the tone for like, okay, I don't think I can tell this guy anything because he gets it, you know? Not really scared of much. I say that a lot, and I don't mean it in a negative, like, I don't want anyone to think anything that way about me, but like, listen, people are going to judge me by who I really am. You know, I don't want to be judged by the fake person. I remember.
Scream, you're genuine. That's like most.
I try to be.
So real.
Yeah, it's a great attribute and also a major detriment as well.
So it's true when I say that when I see you Tuesday nights at meetings or Wednesday at the arena, like I'll just go and stand by you. And sometimes we'll talk. Sometimes I'll just stand there and listen to you talk to other people just because I like hearing your stories and hearing your delivery and just hearing the way you are. And I wanted everybody at home to get to know, you know, the other side of you. We get to see on TV. We get to see you coming out with the Apple. We get to see you on all the Road to videos. We get to see you in your matches. And I think you surprise a lot of people in your matches and everything that you're capable of. I don't think people realize just how fantastic you are. And you have so much in your arsenal, and we haven't even begun to see that.
Yeah, well, you standing next to me, I used to think that you just needed something. Honestly, I was like, okay, he needs something, because most of the time when people, like, they walk up, they stand there, and they wait to be acknowledged so they can ask their question. Well, like, I've never been that. I always just interrupt. That's just who I am. So the fact that you never did that, and I'm always the type of person like, well, I'm not going to say anything until he says something, because whatever. If it's that important, he's gonna obviously interrupt me at some point. And then I finally do remember asking you, like, do you need something? You're like, no, I just like hanging out and listening. And I'm like, oh, okay. I think I remember at one point I even said, like, hey, I think you think I'm a lot more important than I really am, because you always come by me, you know? And then you're like, no, I just genuinely want to listen to you speak. They're like, oh, okay. So we've kind of developed that fun little friendship on the road. I don't really have that many friends because of the position I think that I'm in. I try to be careful about that. You know, being Cody's assistant is, you know, it's a direct link right to. Let's put it this way: I have a lot of friends now because of that. But So when it comes to the wrestling, here's the thing about my in-ring wrestling. I'm a coach, so I think I have to know how to do everything. It's kind of like part of whether I'm good at it or not, that's yet to be seen. I only try to pull out stuff every now and then that I feel comfortable in. And at the end of the day, too, I think the expectations are set pretty low for the Apple guy QT Marshall. So even if they're 80% great, it's still better.
So you bring up a couple of interesting points. First of all, the Apple guy QT Marshall. So let's get to know who the Apple guy QT Marshall is.
Okay.
You mentioned you're Cody's assistant. You mentioned you're a coach. We all know that you're a wrestler. So you do this all. You wear 3 hats. Do you wear more than 3 hats?
Man, I try to wear as many as I can, and I just want to do everything. That was my pitch when I was originally just hired as an assistant, and then I thought I was hired as an assistant to like do a lot of stuff, but I was literally just hired as an assistant to be an assistant, like emails, coffee, make copies. Like I was like, wait, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. You know, I want to do everything. And then finally Cody just sat me down and was like, listen, just write what you actually want to do. And I will talk to everybody else and we will see. And this was about 3 months in. And I did. I wrote, I literally want to do everything, even including, I think I wrote even be the Brooklyn Brawler, which I don't know why. That was like me tiptoeing around the idea of me wrestling in ring. And
because Brooklyn Brawler, for those that don't know, worked behind the scenes, and he would help with pre-tapes and he would help with anything he could behind the scenes. And once in a while, he'd get to go out and wrestle as well.
Yeah, once in a while, you know, like wrestling is, I need a fix every once in a while. And if I could get a fix in front of thousands of people, I'd much rather do that than get the fix in front of 76 at the local armory. You know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I would still do that. But, you know, if
you've done that,
right
I
there.
watched your documentary on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, the documentary. Yeah, that was the key to my success right there. Something that I literally did as a favor to another kid. I mean, he had a vision. I didn't believe in it. I just let him film me. And
that was a cool story. We got to see, if you watch the documentary, we got to see your story and what you went through trying to achieve your dream of becoming a professional wrestler on a larger level.
Right. Yeah. It was not great times for me, but, you know, it turned out for the best, right? I'm sitting here on the AEW YouTube channel. So
you talked to Cody about being his assistant, and then maybe a little bit more. And then what happened after that? What led to that?
I think I brought up wrestling again at the wrong time, and it kind of got shut down. And then one day we were on a conference call, and my name was pitched for a match from someone other than Cody. It was from Tony Khan, and you know, I don't think anyone wanted to disagree with the boss. So it just kind of worked out. And then I was wrestling all of a sudden. One match. It's supposed to be one match.
Now that's the match where you came out, and maybe the audience didn't have high expectations for you as a tag team partner.
Well, no, that one. So that one was on Dark. Okay. That was when I wrestled against Dustin. I teamed with Peter Avalon against Dustin and Sonny Kiss. And
with your mom.
My mom was in the front row because we thought that was it. Like, all right, hey, I'm going to get my match. And the situation wasn't ideal for me to get the crowd to fully be behind me afterwards. So I wasn't expecting it. I said, listen, hey, if this is as good as it's going to get, it's okay. I still have a job and I still work for what I feel is the greatest wrestling company in the world. So it's fine. Like, let's just go have fun. And I'm wrestling, Dustin Rhodes. Like, doesn't get better than this. So I thought. And then I showed everyone that obviously I'm capable of wrestling in the ring. And the idea was pitched for me to be Cody's tag team partner, which that was the night I think you're starting to refer to, where out of nowhere, the fans just went from chanting, who are you? And Cody's partner. But by the end, they were chanting my name, which was probably still to this day in my professional career, the greatest night of my life.
That was really cool. I remember being there and just taking it all in with you, for you, just looking around and saying, like, I knew this. I'm glad they got to see this. I'm glad they recognized it. And I'm glad that they showed their appreciation for you.
Yeah, it was like it gets thrown around a lot, but like this 16-year overnight success, something like that. And my dad was in the front row in that show, which was funny because my mom wasn't, and then she was mad that my dad was, and she wanted to know how he got there and if I paid for a flight. It was man, what a fight. And I had to explain to her, no, he had money. I don't know how he got it. It was like, because he probably owed like back child support from 20 years ago. I don't know. There was a major argument at the fact that he got to see that one, and then she was justifying it that she got to see my first. So either way, like,
See, this is one of my favorite parts too, when you start talking about your family. You talk about your dad, you talk about your mom, you talk about your wife who's the nutritionist that we all go to and pick her brain. She's awesome. Everybody loves Carolyn. And
right.
When you start telling stories about your family, that's when the real actually comes out. So I'm glad that
we were just speaking about my mom because she's a prominent role. She has a prominent role in the documentary where she's just berating me, telling me to quit, and wrestling is garbage and this, that, and the other. And now she's in AEW chat rooms, and which leads me to this story where she called me 2 days ago and asked me if I was planning on getting into better shape and what I have to do to not be labeled a jobber, because I guess there was a poll on this little group that she's in where like someone voted my name as someone that should be fired in ring, and she thinks like they make decisions. So like I had to explain to her, like, no, I mean, hey, fans are always going to love, they're going to hate. I mean, that's the best part about being a wrestling fan is you get to, have an opinion. And she was like, well, I was going to tell them, but I don't want them to say, oh, QT's mom's sticking up for him. So I told her she has to stop reading the dirt sheets. She has no idea what it means, but one day my mom will be on an episode of Dynamite, I'm sure.
I look forward to it, and I can totally see that. You're a lifelong wrestling fan, and we've shared stories, meeting wrestlers in our younger days and just wanting to be around wrestlers. And we're both the same in the sense that, like, I used to make mixed tapes or mixed CDs or like make stuff to give to wrestlers that I was meeting. And you were the same way. You would go to meet wrestlers and tell everybody what you would do. You wouldn't come empty-handed.
Right. No. So I realized this, a lot of those wrestlers, when they would come, we'd always have these sports cars and collectible shows at the mall. And they would always bring a wrestler there, usually from WWF at the time. And what I realized was, if you bought the 8x10, it was like a conveyor belt, right? You were just, boom, one and done. Then I drew a picture one time of The Rock. It's like a giant poster board picture, and he actually took like a minute to speak to me about it, how long it took me to draw, how long I've watched wrestling, if I was really his favorite. And he personalized the drawing. He wrote like, to Mike, know your role. And I remember my buddy got a 8x10 and it just said Rock. It didn't even say The Rock, and because he was really busy at the time. And then we got the Polaroid with him, and he wrote The Rock, but on my friends he just put R. So I realized, like, oh, this is, at 12 I realized, like, oh, okay, they actually appreciate this kind of stuff. Like, they're not just there to make their money and this, that, and the other. So then I just started doing that. So needless to say, I don't know where a lot of them are. The only one I have at the house is a drawing of Shawn Michaels. That one I have. And I think he put 2 Michael on it. He didn't really personalize it as much, but this was in the time period when he was gone from the WWF. He was half retired. And I also worked for the company too, because like I stooged my way in, kind of like I did here. And they made me keep changing shirts and keep going back and visiting him. And then at the very end, just so they could keep getting more 8x10s. But then at the very end, I was able to present my drawing to him, and then we actually had a personal conversation. And he didn't realize I was the same person. So, yeah. So that was my that was like my way to connect with the wrestler.
So you used to go to signings, you used to work for signings, you did anything you could to meet wrestlers. You wanted to be a wrestler. How did you make that happen? What was the first step you took to becoming a wrestler, and how old were you?
Okay, I was 18 in college, and Dawn Marie from ECW was a good friend of the family. My mom taught her how to bartend. And so anyway, she was in ECW at the time, or she was working like she was back in WWE, right? So this was after. But she had done ECW. Anyway, we went to an indie show, and Val Venus was there, and this was like 99 maybe. And my mom, Dawn Marie, came out with Steve Carino. She's like, "Oh my God, that's Dawn." And I was like, "You know this like beautiful woman?" She's like, "Yeah." Trained her at a bartend. So we kept the relationship. When I turned 18, she told us that there were like wrestling schools. And I went down, and that was it, man. I saw a wrestling school, which was in a strip mall and at the Monster Factory back then. And my grandfather gave me a deposit, and I started the week after WrestleMania 20. Like that Monday, I was there. And,
so you've been working hard. You obviously worked for a long time at the Monster Factory. In your documentary, we see trying to go to the next level. And so for years, you're perfecting your craft. You're very good at what you do. All of a sudden, what was the next step that brought you towards AEW? Was it actual AEW? Was it All In? What was the next step to bring you towards AEW and this all happening?
So I had my real job, which was running a restaurant that I hated. And before that, I was selling tools for my stepfather, which I hated. So I finally told my wife after we got married, I said, we're just going to move to Georgia because we had family in Atlanta. And we could buy a house from them. We don't have to pay a down payment, all this stuff. And I think I want to open a wrestling school because I think more than the money is about respect. And I couldn't get respect in wrestling as a wrestler because of my neck and all of the mistakes I probably made in the past of, again, I say a lot of stuff, right? Very honest. So we decided to open up the wrestling school. And at the time, Ring of Honor was still, I don't want to say relevant because they're still relevant, but they were like the company that I dealt with all the time. So they had offered me to call the Women of Honor color commentary. And in exchange, they would let me sit in the production meeting so I could start my school and start my own little company on the side and this, that, and the other, which led me to meet Cody, which led me to start training Brandy, which then they needed a national anthem singer for All In. And I pitched Shalandra Royale, who is one of my students who can sing. And I had to drive her there because I wanted to go, and Cody had invited myself and Carolyn to go there.
So you drove Atlanta to Chicago.
Drove Atlanta to Chicago. I sang the whole way. And Shalandra told me I don't have a great singing voice, but I believe I do, so it's fine.
Were you doing that because you were trying to pitch yourself to be a future singer?
Well, I wanted her to give
Wear
me
another
singing
hat.
lessons. I wanted her to give me singing lessons. And I figured if I got her, I helped with getting her this opportunity, plus I train her. Yeah, I figured I didn't have to spell it out, but I haven't started yet. I got really busy in the time that has happened. But long story short, I went there as a friend, and they needed me to work. So I put the headset on. I helped run like the first half of the show. And when AEW came around, I guess Cody said the other day he knew he was always going to have me with him. I didn't know that. So I remember thinking, like, when they had that rally set up in Jacksonville, and like the day before, I was still going to go to my school the next night for our first day of our beginner class. I was a little hot inside. Like, hey, man, like, what the hell? Like, all these other guys are getting jobs, and I'm hearing about it, and no one's saying anything. And then sure enough, like 8 a.m. that morning, I get a text. It was like, hey, can you come to Jacksonville? I'm like, sure. And I just got in my truck and drove to Jacksonville and filmed BTE. You could tell it's me filming too, because the nice ring on the back of my head, you know? I was very upset about it, actually. The fans are right. I think QT Marshall's there. You could tell by his head.
You were great in those vignettes, and you always had the apple. You have the scars. So there's two things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about, one, how the apple became a thing, and two, the scar. People talk about your head and your hair, so let's talk about that too.
All right.
Opportunity to tell the world.
The apple. We were here filming, and one night, the first time we filmed for Road 2, I was holding Cody's phone for him to speak into while he was making coffee. And I don't think that got over too well with, like, just the normal audience. Like, what, you can't hold your own phone? Like, why is this guy holding your phone? So the next video, we didn't do that. And then I just felt weird doing nothing. And I was like, oh, I'll eat something. And normally I would eat Reese's or something like that, because I figure I'm never going to wrestle again. What do I care? And but where we film, there's always healthy things. So there were apples there. So I ate an apple. And then it just people started writing about it, like commenting, you know, confirmed this person ate all this stuff. So then one of our producers was like, you should just always have an apple. I was like, all right, whatever. It'll keep me from eating bad or, you know, choosing poor decisions. So I just always had one. And then it just started to work. And everybody, well, either hated it or liked it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing it. And then because I played baseball, I could throw it behind my back and catch it. So I was
Did
like,
you hear anything from Jericho? Did Jericho like or dislike the apple?
Jericho didn't like the apple. And I don't know if it's because he didn't like the apple or he didn't like the idea that, like, I was kind of getting over. I don't know. I never really spoke to him about it, only because he beat the the heck out of me here. So I didn't want to get on his bad side, especially now he's got like the whole group. So I've never even brought it up. Since then, since I worked the cruise, you know, him and I have gotten a little bit on more of a better level. So I don't even bring it up. I don't need to know. It's okay. You know.
Let's talk about your hair.
Okay, the hair. So when I was 23, my hair started to go pretty fast. I think I was stressed out. I was pretty broke, trying to become a wrestler. Or I was just stressed. Let's put it that way. A certain company told me I should get hair. And then Larry Zbyszko, who I was like working with at the time, he told me about a hair transplant. I had never even knew what that was. Like, obviously I know, you know, there's hair plugs from like the cable guy, you know, hair plug, like that I knew. And I looked into it and I was like, sure, I can do that. I have money at the time. So I did. What nobody told me was that I would lose the rest of my hair. Okay. On top of that, I didn't realize, like, they don't fill your whole head. They can only take so much at one time. What's up?
You gotta say goodbye to Duckworth for the boys.
We're filming.
Well, I'll take over for a second. You gotta go.
Okay.
South. Yeah.
Hold on. We're gonna have a special guest real quick.
Okay.
6 feet. 6
We'll
feet.
see you in a minute.
All right. Yeah, we'll be right back. I gotta stay within
Who will
6
fill the
feet.
chair?
6 feet. He shouldn't take too long. Is this live?
Hey, it's the American Nightmare. How you doing, Cody?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
I'm gonna put my
having a good
shades on
time
like
talking
you, bro.
to QT and learning all about his life.
A lot of it's a lie. How much did he give you, the wrestler's version, or he give you the real version?
It feels pretty real. Is there anything you might add in? Anything we should talk about or
Did he
know?
tell you about the documentary?
We talked about the documentary. I brought it up. I don't think he was going to.
So do you know how it all worked out with why the documentary was actually made?
He said it was because his friend wanted to make a documentary.
Why the documentary was actually made was, it is a very, like, people don't give QT enough credit. It was a ploy to get hired by another company. And it didn't work, because what happened instead was me and Gary Juster of ROH went to the premiere of the movie.
What was the premiere?
What's that?
What was the premiere?
Oh, I don't even remember, but it was, he
At
really
a big
laid
movie
out.
theater with like thousands of people
Yeah,
there?
he rented out a theater at the little 5 Points area of Atlanta and put this big presentation on. And I stayed, and I mean, honestly, is one of the smartest marketing tactics I've ever seen, because I fell hook, line, and sinker. This guy has been giving his life to the business. He's broken his neck. And that's authentic. That's all real. If you watch the documentary, the part that's made up is he never worked for Snap-on Tools. So you can see, he's like, you got to watch it. You've seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he didn't work for Snap-on?
No, bro. He's a mystery. And we're just now at AAW unraveling the mystery that is QT. He also, in the movie, they make his mom and his wife seem like they're like mean, and they're both two of the nicest people ever. It's really all his irresponsibility, and they're very organized and support and believe in his dreams and all that. They're really good people. I'm gonna let him come back in.
Okay, thank you for letting us know about that.
That's the thing that I think that people don't give him credit enough. How many people have gone, hey, I'm going to do this on my tryout, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. This guy thought to make a whole movie making you feel bad. This is a genius idea. I don't know anyone else who's marketed that way. The QT Marshall story. I recommend it for anybody out there. The audio levels are off, so it'll screw your TV up. You got to turn it up and turn it down. But I want to finish the documentary at AEW because his journey's been so unique. Associate producer, on-screen wrestler, partnering with Dustin. Very unique opportunity there. Very unique individual. Not unlike you, Justin. I need you back, bro.
I miss you. I can't wait to be back.
Yeah, we need everybody back. I'm going to work, buddy. Here comes
all right,
16.
take care, Cody. Thanks for sitting in.
QT. All right. What'd you say about me? Anything good?
I said everything good about you.
Perfect. All right.
You're just telling us how great your wife and your mom, and also that you didn't really drive for Snap-on?
Yeah. Well, he said I didn't, or I did.
Yeah. He said that you didn't. So now I think we need to talk about this.
Well, yeah. I mean, he has this idea of why we made this movie, but you know,
It was
whatever.
so you could get the sympathy higher.
Right. Try to get the job from WWE.
Okay.
Which
I think we were talking
or
about
another
your
company.
hair. We were talking about your hair when you got
the hair, right? So, yes. So
you didn't know there was going to be just little sections.
right. So all of a sudden, I had the hair in the front was growing, and I lost the rest in the back. And it didn't bother me because I wasn't on camera anymore, and I still looked good in like family photos, my wedding picture, all that stuff. And then I wrestled on dark, and those bright lights that hit the top of my head literally made it look like I had zero hair on the back of my head. So, and then fans started like questioning why I don't just shave my head. And so then I went and got another hair transplant. Like 2 weeks later, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be on TV. I'm just going to get more hair. The thing that people don't know is that it takes a while for the hair to grow in. So right now I'm getting a lot of compliments on my hair, but that's the hair that will always grow in, like the ones in my pictures that people think are photoshopped.
So how many procedures will it take until you're happy with the hair that you have? Or it's unknown?
Justin, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think I'll ever be happy when it comes to my hair. But they filled in the crown area, so we'll see. When it comes in, we will see. I don't know. I can't predict the future.
QT, no matter how much hair you have or don't have, we love you just the way you are. So just
Well,
be
you
happy.
do. You do. I don't. A lot of people don't. A lot of people want me to just shave my head, but I can't shave my head because the first surgery required them to use a scalpel and create a scar on the back of my head. So I didn't want to have a shaved head. So I'm all messed up when it comes
You
to
were
the hair.
self-conscious about the scar, so
Yeah, so then I got the scar colored in, like a tattoo thing. And I think the color was off because I had a tan at the time. I don't know. Justin, thank God I just can't see the back of my head. That's the way I look at it. I can't see it. So until somebody points it out, it is what it is.
see, this is why he's the best. One of the reasons. We have some questions from our fans. Speaking of our fans, just want to take this moment to say, everybody, all of our fans out there, I have loved being in front of you for the past about a year now at different times. You guys are so much fun, and you guys are the best, and I miss you all so much. QT, I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, you know what? Past year has just been like I said, I honestly kind of feel that we're getting paid to get on airplanes and go to hotels.
It is silly. Every week after TV, I'll just go, this is stupid. How, like, anybody who I talk to would be like, oh, how was work or how was whatever. I just go, this is stupid. I love this so much. It is so stupid that this is our job, that we're having fun. We have such a great group of people. Our bosses are awesome. It's just everybody who, like us, shares the same interest. Everybody loves wrestling and just wants to go out there and put on an awesome wrestling show for our fans, and our fans are awesome. It's like everybody together. It's
so weird how it works. I try to explain that to people. Like, they don't understand.
You can't explain it. It's just that feeling of every week. It's like, now I got to wait 5 days to go back to work.
Yeah. I tried to explain it to my brother who lives in Germany. Well, now he lives in Denmark, but he works for a computer company and this, that, and the other. Anyway, I was like, hey, man, I'm finally got a job now with the wrestling and I'm on TV. And he was like, good. It took you 17 years. Like, you should be doing all right for yourself in a career that took you 17 years. I was like, Jesus, like, all right, never mind. Like, how's your kid? All right, whatever. Let's change the subject.
Well, hello to your brother if he's watching, and to our fans watching, the fans who sent in questions. We're going to go with this. Since you're known for having an apple, would you like to team with Orange Cassidy? You'd be like apples and oranges.
Well, it's funny they asked that. My first Dynamite match was against Orange Cassidy. It was his debut match when they were dressed as Rick and Morty. And he kind of kicked me in the shins pretty hard. Vicious shin kicks. But now, Orange Cassidy and I think we have we've developed a nonverbal friendship because he doesn't really like to do much. And I like that. Someone that can get by just doing a little bit. I really respect that. So obviously right now I started teaming with Dustin, and that's my goal. But if I had to pick a secondary partner, it would probably be Orange Cassidy. I don't know what we call ourselves, but something fruit related or apples to oranges. That I get that a lot. But yeah, I could see that.
Okay, that would be great. Big fan of anything you do, and I'm a big fan of anything that Orange Cassidy does. Our next question, what is your favorite match so far in AEW?
So it's not my favorite match like that I've been in, right? Because
I'm leaving
all
general,
of them would be my
question
favorite.
was general, so whichever one you want to go with.
Okay. Well, I will
Favorite
go
match
with
to watch or that you participated in. Up to you.
Yeah, well, participated in would have to be the one where I teamed with Cody because, again, it was special.
That was awesome.
Watched, man, Cody versus Dustin. I mean, okay, I don't want everyone, he's Cody's friend and his assistant, so that's why he liked that match. No, that was, to me, at Double or Nothing, that match was just amazing. We've had some since that have obviously been great as well. I think Private Party versus the Bucks, first round of the tag tournament was pretty special as well because, again, it was kind of like the moment I had. It was these two kids that, all right, yeah, they're Private Party. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, my God, like they're Private Party. And that, when people have those moments, again, like that's what I think wrestling is about. It's not about the moves it's about the moments created. So like a moment like that. And then Justin, of course, Scooby-Doo and Jesus versus me and Brandon Cutler. I mean, there is footage of that somewhere.
Wow, the shows go off the air on Wednesday nights, and it's like we usually do a match for dark, and then we'll do the 2 hours of Dynamite, and then we'll do another 2 matches, maybe 3 for dark. And by then, a lot of time has gone by. You've seen a lot of wrestling, and I sit there every week and I look around, and you don't see anybody leaving. Nobody is anxious to leave. Everybody just wants to stay and hang out because the atmosphere is so much fun at our shows. So you never know what's going to happen after. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sitting down there and I just kind of look in the ring and kind of look at the entranceway like, okay, is anybody going to come out? Because sometimes guys come out. Sometimes it's just the guys in the ring. You never know what's going to happen. And the week that QT's talking about, he was standing in the ring with Brandon Cutler, and a guy with a Scooby-Doo costume came in the ring, and a guy who's dressed as Jesus, who comes to a bunch of our shows. Both those guys come to a bunch of our shows. They got in the ring and ended up pinning. I mean, there was a match, and somebody got pinned, and somebody won.
Yeah, I lost. I lost to Jesus. My mom wasn't too excited to find out that I lost to Jesus. So.
But it was fun. We have so much fun every single week. I'm glad that I got to see you. I miss seeing you, so I'm glad that this is a show. This is a real thing, so we get to talk. And I'm glad the world gets to hear your story. One question to end it on, because something I noticed a while back, you were talking about, I believe it was a kid that was supposed to go on the Jericho cruise, who something happened with his flight and wasn't able to go, missed the cruise. And he had made, I believe he drew trading cards of wrestlers, and you got those and took them around to all the wrestlers, and you were getting them signed. Did you get those all signed for that kid?
I still have. So unfortunately, the pandemic that we're in at the moment kind of hindered getting all of them signed, but I have been in touch with him since, and I've let him know. And he came to the show in Atlanta, and Carolyn was backstage, and she was able to take him and his son around, because it was a family that didn't get to make it on the cruise. And they got to meet everyone they wanted to meet. He said it was the greatest thing we could have ever done for them. And when I told him that I didn't get all the cards signed yet, I mean, his response was like, "Oh, take your time, please. It's not a huge deal." Like, I didn't want to just give him half. But all the wrestlers, every single person that we have in AEW, that when as soon as I tell them the story, they're right away, "Oh yeah, let me see. Where was he? At the show. Where are they at? Let's take pictures with him." And they just went above and beyond for him. And I know it really meant a lot to him and his son as well. And that's kind of like what our whole company is about. I think deep down is just giving the ultimate fan experience.
That is a huge part of AEW. Everybody is just always constantly trying to bend over backwards just to help and please everyone, because we're all huge wrestling fans. Everybody who's a part of AEW. So we're big fans, and we know what it's like to be a fan, and we just want to do, everybody in the company wants to do everything possible to give all of our fans a great experience, and that's what they get. QT, thank you so much for joining us. You are a pal and a confidant. Thank you for being a friend.
Oh, thank you, Justin. And just don't throw around that friend thing so far, I don't want people to think that, your success has to be through who you're friends with.
Thank you, QT.
All right, later, dude.
My next guest is Dion. Dion, come on in and tell everybody what you do at AEW.
Hello, everyone. My name's Dion. I am the social media coordinator here at All Elite Wrestling.
Very good. So you are all things social media. You and the judge kind of split duties, and between the two of you, we have wonderful social media. You guys are both very creative and both very great at what you do. And you're another person that I just love seeing every week. You're always happy. You're always doing a weird late night workout because you're a beast. And then you follow up this workout where you burn calories and just really just get yourself into shape. And then you wash the workout down with a couple of Snickers bars and Gatorades and junk food. Tell us about your workouts.
It's true. Everything that Justin just said is very true. I go to the gym, whatever hotel we're at, and I just do whatever I want to do, and then I'll go to whatever the terrible marketplace is at that hotel and just buy whatever candy they've got. Like I remember the first time I did it and Justin saw me, I had a big little punnet of sour candied worms. I had a Snickers bar. I had a Monster coffee drink, and yeah, like a bunch of Gatorades.
And
Gym
you're
wise,
sweating from this great workout that you had.
yeah, it was awesome. I don't know. It gives me the excuse to eat whatever I want. But yeah, whatever workout wise, I just do whatever I want to do in the moment. Like I'll figure out a program and then I'll just do it. Make sure that I get a heavy sweat on because, like you said, Justin, you buried me big time. Is that I want to eat junk food. I want to eat what I want.
But it's okay because you work out, so it all balances out.
It's a terrible workout mantra, but in my brain, in some strange way, it works out great, perfectly.
So you're doing everything social media for AEW. Do you want to give examples of the kinds of things you do and what you enjoy doing and how you enjoy working here?
Yeah, so social media in general, like I started a long time ago, like in 2013, when the criteria that you needed was you know how to post to Instagram, and the answer generally was yes, I do. So I did that for Lululemon, and then I jumped ship, and I did Lululemon for like 6 years. I did the supplement company called On It in Austin, Texas, and then I obviously joined ship here at AEW. But the one big thing that I love about social media is that you have the opportunity to create stories. Like you can, and that's basically what professional wrestling, to me anyway, is what that is in a nutshell. You have the opportunity to create these awesome stories, and social media is such a powerful tool that you can kind of keep that storytelling going online and have more people invested in what that is. So yeah, that's like the one big thing that I love about social media. And community is everything to a company in general. So yeah, I love to just be a part of those two big things. Yeah.
And you're a wrestling fan yourself, right? Longtime wrestling fan.
Yeah, I jokingly say that when I was a kid, my nan set me in front of her TV and just played old VHSs of professional wrestling. Like one that stands out in my brain was like SummerSlam, and it's Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude in the steel cage. Like that was one big thing that stood out in my childhood. But Brainbusters growing up was one of my favorite tag teams. Power and Glory was one of my favorite tag teams, and we didn't get WWF in New Zealand for a long time, but we got WCW. So I watched WCW for years and years and years. And my poor mom would just have to put up with me staying up till like midnight to watch these pay-per-views that you could get in New Zealand. We only had 3 channels, and they were literally called 1, 2, and 3. And WCW was on channel 2, and we would get Monday Night Nitro on Friday night, but like at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'd stay up and watch it. My mom hated me for it, but she didn't hate me for it, but you know, she loved it. She loved it. It was whatever.
So growing up in New Zealand and watching wrestling at 1 a.m. on Friday nights and any wrestling tapes you could find, it probably seemed like it was a totally different world, and it was something that was so far out there because it wasn't something that was coming to your town every week, and it was something that was just so out there. And now here you are at AEW, you're working. You talked about the Brainbusters. You're working with the Brainbusters. How cool is it being in AEW now and being in the world of wrestling?
I mean, it's, to be honest, mate, it's strange. It's still a strange time where, yeah, I kind of wake up every day and go, yeah, I work not only in professional wrestling, but I work in All Elite Wrestling, this new company that has come along. But yeah, even when I was a kid, like I never dreamed of working professional wrestling, let alone moving to America. I'm from a very small town where all we have is just, you know, not a lot of stuff, but the upbringing that I had, it's just a strange, weird circumstance that I somehow ended up here and working for All Elite Wrestling. I don't even know how to describe it, but here I am doing the damn thing, you know, and meeting people like you, and you know, working with the talent that we have. It's strange. It's strange. Every day it's strange.
Are you having fun?
Hell yeah. It's weird because there's a definition of having a job and you go to work, but this is definitely the most different that I've ever had in any type of job. Like I've loved almost all of my jobs, but having the ability to go travel every single week and going into arenas that I never thought I would be in. And for the most part, people think, I get to travel and do these cool things, but when the show goes live, I actually have to sit in the back and do a lot of, live tweeting and everything like that. But I actually, before the show starts, I stand in the arena and I look around and go, man, this is awesome. Like, be stoked that you're here. Be stoked that you're a part of this massive professional wrestling company. Be stoked that you're here. And then once I kind of sink that in and let that soak in for a little bit, then I go back to where we sit and just start working. But what I love the most for me personally is that you get to go out there every single night. Well, not right now, but when we were traveling, you get to go out there every single night, and you're the very first person that they see, and people get so stoked to see you. As soon as the crazy bongo drums come in, Justin Roberts on the thing, people pop for that, and it's awesome. I love that. It makes me insanely happy. And then the show goes.
Thank you. That's really cool, and it's cool to be able to do that. I used to go out in the very dark. I had to go to the ring, complete darkness, and so the idea now that not only do I get to walk out when the lights are on, but that there's a graphic that Kevin Sullivan put together. It's my logo with what might look like the Golden Girls at maybe my feet holding the microphone, and Mikey Ruckus made me music that sounds a little bit like another song that maybe the Rolling Stones did, and to be able to go out there and then just be able to see everybody's face, everybody's excited, and welcome everybody to the show and kind of guide them on the journey they're going to have for the next few hours. I love it. I love what I do. You love what you do. I love what you do. I think you do a great job, and it's always great seeing you around. Just seeing you backstage and hanging out with you during the days. I miss you. I miss seeing you. Thank you for coming on and introducing yourself to our audience here, so now everybody gets to know who Dion is. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you soon. I miss you, buddy.
Yeah, man, I miss you too, man. And the next thing, when we start going back and traveling on the road, I want pyro for you. I want you to walk down, and when the music comes on and when you say, welcome to All Elite Wrestling, pyro just comes up. Kadash, 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 kadash. I want all of that for you. That'll be awesome.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, Dion. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you. You too, brother.
Thank you again to QT. Thank you to Dion. It was great to see you both. And thank you to everybody out there watching. Appreciate that, and appreciate your comments and suggestions. Any guests you want to see, go ahead and send out a tweet and let me know who you'd like to see as my guests here. And as I said to Dion, I'm going to say the same to all of you. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. I miss you all, and I hope everybody's doing well out there. Thank you for watching, and thank you for watching all things AEW, AEW Dark, AEW Dynamite, listen to AEW Unrestricted podcast, and we'll see you next week.